Hello, I'm Richard Vobes, the Bald Explorer. Not that you would see I was bald by this warm hat that I'm wearing, but underneath it, honestly, I am. I'm out and about looking at landscape, heritage and nature again on one of my lovely walks, and today I'm in Piltdown near Uckfield. And today I'm going on a 3-mile walk. I'm going to look at the topography of the landscape on the lovely East Sussex Footpaths, and I'm starting my walk here by this 17th century pub, the Peacock Inn, which is by all accounts a delightful inn. I'm sure it is. I haven't actually been in there. It's not actually open now that I've arrived on this Sunday morning. The sun is shining and I'm going to get cracking, so why not join me? Oh, I nearly had a fall then. So I've started the walk, had a funny 5 minutes where I was trying to find out actually where the walk began. Having parked from the car, I got a bit confused on the map. I ought to know better. It's funny, you do these things, you feel that you're relatively experienced, and it's still easy to make a very simple mistake. However, I found the pathway, and as you saw, it's quite narrow and it's fenced off here and here between private land. Obviously this pathway goes through somebody's property and they're very keen to make sure you don't get on it. There's a river or a stream on my right as I do the walk. I guess I must be going eastwards at this point, and you can't walk by there. You have to go through this very narrow bit, which is fair enough, you know, I suppose, as long as the public can come through. They've made it pretty obvious. It's muddy. It's extremely muddy. It's winter. There's a hill to my left, this side, and the water is coming through, and of course it's getting very, very bogged down. Fortunately, the leaves on the floor are being useful and helping to keep the mud sort of compacted as much as possible. I've only just started the walk. It's a good 3 miles, so I better get on. I've got access now to the little stream or the river that's coming through this area. The property came to an end and all the fencing, thank goodness, came to an end, and now I'm out in the open. And it is interesting how that can make you feel when you're restricted down this tiny little corridor. Not pleasant. Fortunately, they've put some running boards along this walk, which I've since discovered is the Fletching Millennium Walk, this bit. Clearly the best time to come is in the spring and the summer and early autumn, not in the winter as we're now getting into winter, or if there's been a lot of rain, because the rain, as I said before, is just coming off the hillside and filtering into the river, which is very nice to see, but it's extremely wet. I noticed the trees around here, principally along here, are alder, and you can see the little fir cones of the alder, tiny. That's what they look like. I don't know if they are technically fir cones, because fir cones would come from fir trees. But we're going to carry on. I should get to a small little bridge that will cross this river shortly. So that's my next port of call. I can tell you it is quite warm now. There is a bit of a cool breeze, which is quite nice, but I could almost do with taking my coat off. It is funny, I think we're about 8 degrees centigrade out here, I've taken a detour now across this field and I can see the bridge just ahead of me, which is nice. It is sometimes quite tricky navigating the ground, even when you've got a map, and I have got a map on my phone which I'm using, because sometimes the track goes off and you know it's going off across a field, and sometimes you've got to look around and see the signs to make sure it's the correct field. An OS map gives you a line of, shows you where the line of avenue of trees are, or little streams that divert, and often of course you've got things like the electric pylons or telephone posts, the telegraph posts, and that sort of thing, which always helps. Got the sun in my face blinding me at the moment, but I can see the bridge, so let's get onto that bit and then I can check the map to see what my next landmark is that I've got to hit. Good, I've done the bridge. I noticed they've got a bar either side at knee level, and I assume that is to stop cattle or horses or sheep going across the bridge, but of course we humans can cock a leg over. So the next bit of the walk is quite easy. We're just going to go across I think a couple of fields, and then we should get to a small road, and there we turn right, and that will take us I guess on the beginning of the circular route to get back to the pub, but we've yet to go through a golf course. Oh, there's a van coming. I'll let him go. Well, this is a very pleasant little bridge. I've actually been here before. I've done some filming here once before for somebody else. I do recognise this area, Sharpsbridge, and I don't know where it gets its name, and I still don't know what this little river is. I've got to find that out, and if I work it out, I'll put it on the screen. But yeah, well, delightful place. I'm guessing it must flood because they've got this delightful little walkway, which presumably this area must flood somewhat. And so they've erected this, and I can already see that the field in front of me is very, very boggy. There's a little gully down here, which presumably is to take the water away. And then on the far side of the field, there looks to be a pillbox, so presumably strategically placed in case somebody came up the river during the Second World War, obviously. Now you can continue the walk that I originally planned by crossing over some of these fields and coming up in a big round loop, and then get back up onto the main road, cross the main road and round. And that was my original intention, but the ground here is so wet now and my feet are soaking, so I've decided I'd come up this road. It's a slight cut on the walk, shortcut, but actually it's been very pleasant, and it's quite nice to get on solid ground from time to time. So the intention now is to just come up to the main road and have a look at the field systems where the walk continues, or I'll take the road back. I might just avoid the golf course altogether, although the golf course probably is less muddy than anything else being maintained. But it's beautiful. Actually, it's getting colder now, so I might have to put my bobble hat on and my gloves. Clearly I got that wrong. I have got to go past the golf course. So that's all right. This walk just, I think, circumnavigates the ground, so that's okay. Come off the road now, and this will weave back along hedges and hedgerows and that sort of thing until I get back to the Peacock Inn. So that will be great. Maybe I'll have a nice cup of coffee when I get there. So I've come out into a large field. The last bit just of that going through the golf course was a little bit confusing. So the sign had fallen down with the arrow on it and I wasn't 100% sure, but I knew it was basically go across, as it were, and I picked up, eventually you do, you know, you pick it up, and I come out into this very huge field here that's muddy expanse. But I think the pub is just down there. I can see the white of a building. I'm fingers crossed that is the side of the pub and the main road is somewhere that way. So that's me done and dusted. Another walk in the can. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you've enjoyed it. Don't forget to follow, like, subscribe. Give me a thumbs up if you've enjoyed the video. Leave a comment if you know anything about the area or something about the walk, or you just want to add something, and I'll see you on another walk. I'm now roasting. It's quite amazing how the temperature has really risen and this coat is boiling. Till next time, thanks for watching. Bye bye.